All right, so I took the given information, the directrix line and the vertex, and I put it on a graph here. Now I know that this has to be a sad face graph because the parabola, the directrix is always behind the parabola. So it's going to go like that. This graph right here is a happy face on the side because y is squared. This guy here is going in the opposite direction because it's got a negative there. This guy is a happy face, and so it has to be D, just based upon the given information. X is being squared, and we got a negative there in front of the 2/3, so it is a negative. Okay, now the question is asking for the endpoints of the latus rectum. So the latus rectum goes through the focus point. So I have to find the focus point. Now remember that the distance between the vertex and the directrix, this distance here, is the same distance from the vertex to the focus. So the focus point's got to be right here. Okay, now this distance here is 1/6. Okay, according to the line, the directrix line is 1/6, which means that this distance here also has to be 1/6 units away, which puts the focus point at 0, negative 1/6. That's the ordered pair of the focus point. Now remember, the focus is like the little fishy that's being eaten by the shark. Okay? Now, on to the latus rectum here. The latus rectum goes through the focus point and it attaches to the parabola. So that's a latus rectum. We have a left endpoint and a right endpoint. Now notice, since it goes through the focus, these green points share the same y value as the focus because they're at the same altitude. They both are parallel to the x-axis, and they both have the y coordinate of negative 1/6 for here, and a y coordinate of negative 1/6 here. Which leaves us to, what is the x-coordinate? The x-coordinate of those points. Well, at the very beginning of the question, we've identified the equation to be that, and that is the relationship between x and y. So if we know what the y value is, which is 1/6, all we have to do is substitute in negative 1/6 in for y, because that's the y value. This thing right here, if it's 1/6, we're just going to put 1/6 in for y and solve for x. So when I reduce this fraction, I get 2/18, which reduces to 1/9, and x squared equals to 1/9. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides to cancel, and that gives us plus or minus 1/3. So square root of 1 is 1, square root of 9 becomes 3. So that means the left endpoint, I got a lot of arrows going on here, the left endpoint is going to be the positive 1/3. The left endpoint is going to be the negative 1/3, and the right endpoint will be the positive 1/3. So you have 1/3 on the right, negative 1/3 on the left, and that's the ordered pair for those the latus rectum.